that music, whoa, I hear it everywhere I go. And I don't think I've ever seen another music that can make me feel like that music is playing in my heart. From time to time, darkness come along, terrorize the weak and challenge the strong. Storm is coming, it grows on the waves. From Johannesburg to Montego Bay, what's that music? It's playing on the radio. What's that music? Whoa, I hear it and I got to know. And I don't think I've ever heard a sweeter feeling in the whole wide world than that music is playing in my heart. And justice is coming on the winds of the storm. We resist in the prison for those that get unborn. Freedom is spreading its wing like a bird. The message it carries has got to be heard. What's that music playing on the radio? Hey, what's that music? Whoa, playing everywhere I go. I don't think I've ever heard a sweeter feeling in the whole wide world than that music playing in my heart. Yeah, I forget what Washington did on the Potomac. This is the Potomac. Black folks would sometimes refer to that as the Potomac. You see, but this is the Potomac. Saw a duck floating out there a little while ago. Somebody said, yeah, but Reagan is in charge with all ducks. Dead ducks, you dig it? Symbols of democracy are pinned against the coast. The outhouse of bureaucracy surrounded by a moat. Citizens of poverty are barely out of sight. The overlords escape near evening, the brothers on the night. Morning come and bring the tourists straining rubbernecks. Perhaps a glimpse of the cowboy making the world a nervous wreck. It's a massive irony for all the world to see. It's the nation's capital, it's Washington, D.C. It's the nation's capital, it's the nation's capital, it's the nation's capital, it's Washington, D.C. If I had to define myself, and people often ask me, what it is that I do, I would have to say that I am a bluesologist. And this is a scientist concerned with the origins of the blues. Like it's a science as soon as you see the ology on the end of it. This makes everything scientific. The way that I got my background and the things that make me qualified for this is that, first of all, I was born in Chicago. And before I moved to D.C., I've been living in D.C. now for about 10 years, but before I moved to D.C., I was certain that the only way you could get a head start on everybody else in terms of the blues was to be born in Chicago. It was like we went through Chicago about 6 weeks ago. They said it was 2 degrees and they were looking for them. So it was definitely the blues in Chicago. When I was 8 months old, I escaped bag and baggage to a town called Jackson, Tennessee. And Jackson, Tennessee, for those of you who do not know, is located about 85 miles east of Memphis. I was also about 50 miles north of Mississippi. There's nothing we could do about that. We thought about moving to town. Because they see, like when I was growing up, they used to have this old joke, says, what has 4 eyes and will never see? And the answer was always Mississippi. Because most folks felt that Mississippi was the home of the blues. And when I was being raised down there, the people that we listened to on the radio, like the folks be listening to popular people now, were the bluesicians. John Lee Hooker, Earl Hooker, Jimmy Reed, Jimmy Witherspoon, Lightning Hopkins, B.B. King. These were the people everybody kept up with, and the blues was the music of the day. When I was 13, I moved to New York City, and I walked around for about 6 months like, I couldn't believe New York City, but they were zipping every which way simultaneously. Somebody told me the other night, if you gave people from New York some speed, they would all go into a nod. You know, couldn't make it. Too low key for them. You know, I mean, I still feel the same way. I just learned to keep my mouth closed. They still be amazing the hell out of me. You know, but when you move somewhere, the first thing that you try to do is get in touch with the music, you know, find out where the music is you're going to be grooving on. So I set the radio up, turned all the way down to the right, you know, over there where they keep the black people's music. That's just a coincidence. Everywhere you go, we be over in this corner here. You know, somewhere north of 13, you'll find, you know, turn it over there. And I couldn't find no black music. I could not find the blues. I was wondering what the hell was going on. I said, well, you know, I come from Jackson, Tennessee, and this is New York. Maybe I need a longer radio. I turned B.B. King, I knew was right over there, over on the other side of 16. So I went out in the street, and I run into one of the brothers on the avenue, and I said, brother, look here, well, what's happening? Where can I find the blues? He said, well, hell, you don't have to do nothing, just stand here. You know, in New York City, shit, you don't have to be Sherlock Holmes. Find the blues, it'll find you. You know? Did a poem called Painted Black. Because people used to ask me what the difference was between Jackson, Tennessee and New York City, and I'd say about 500-600 miles. Truth was, it went a whole lot deeper than that. And the description of the poem went something like this. Picture a man of nearly 30 who appears twice as old with clothes torn and dirty. Give him a job shining shoes or cleaning out toilets with bus station crews. Give him 6 children with nothing to eat and expose them to life on a ghetto street. Tie an old rag around his wife's head and have her pregnant, lying in bed. Stuff all 8 of these people in a D.C. house and then tell them how bad things are down south. That was Painted Black. Got a rhythm coming through here, y'all. Come on, have a second. Say, brother living in a cell, doing time at the county jail. Now you might think that life is hell, but he told me that's the first room he ever had to himself. Stop and think about sick, waiting for the axe to fall. And sometimes, Lord, I think that's all. Said when your head is in noose and won't nobody turn loose, you're waiting for the axe to fall. And say, what I want to say. Brother served in Vietnam. They found out no one gives a damn. See, the Agent Orange fell on his cam. Brother's jaws was tight. And got the brother looking for Uncle Sam. And he ain't saluting no more, waiting for the axe to fall. And sometimes, Lord, I think that's all. Cause when your head is on the block and ain't no way for you to stop, you're waiting for the axe to fall. Need one. cheating and lying to make sure her and the kids survive. She'd do anything, waiting for the axe to fall. And sometimes, Lord, I think that's all. Said when your head is in the noose and won't nobody turn you loose, you're waiting for the axe to fall. Need one more scene. Last night, Grandma, should I someone grabbed her pocketbook. She feel like she ain't safe in the neighborhood. Too many guns up to no good. They're sick and tired of waiting for the axe to fall. And sometimes, Lord, I think that's all. Say that when your head is in the noose and won't nobody turn you loose, you're waiting for the axe to fall. And seem like we're waiting, standing around and waiting, worried but we're waiting, no better but waiting. Seem like we're waiting, seem like we're waiting, seem like we're waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, waiting for the axe to fall. And sometimes, Lord, I think that's all. So that when your head is on the block, there ain't no way for you to stop. You're waiting for the axe to fall. And seem like we're waiting, standing around and waiting, nervous but we're waiting, no better than waiting. Seem like we're waiting, seem like we're waiting, seem like we seem like it, seem like it, seem like it. Are we waiting for the axe to fall? And sometimes, Lord, I think that's all. Said that when your head is in the noose and won't nobody turn you loose, you're waiting for the axe to fall. Waiting for the axe to fall. May not have the glitter or the glamour of LA. It may not have the history or the intrigue of Bombay. But when it comes to making music and sure of making news, or people who just don't make sense and people making do, seems a mass of contradictions pulling different ways between who have come and go and the ones who got to stay. It's a mass of irony for all the world to see. It's the nation's capital, it's Washington, D.C. It's the nation's capital, it's the nation's capital, it's the nation's capital, it's Washington, D.C. So I wanted to contribute myself. I was writing down and putting all the categories together. I ain't got no money, I ain't got no job blues, I ain't got no woman blues. And then I said, wait a minute, see, I don't want to waste no categories. I ain't got no money blues, I ain't got no job blues, I ain't got no woman blues. Hell, them the same thing. Because if I could get me a job, I could make me some money, I could call me a lady. I'd be doing a whole bunch better. So I put them all in the same category. But I wrote other pieces of blues information. Because what had happened was that I had found out later on, unfortunately, in my education about people like Langston Hughes, about people like Sterling Brown, about people like County Cullen and Gene Toomer and Claude McKay. And these people had taken the blues as a poetry form back in the 20s and the teens during the Harlem Renaissance, and they had fine-tuned the blues. They had sanded it down so that it became a remarkable sort of an art form. But what happened is that in many instances we didn't learn about that. We learned about the kind of poetry that nobody could understand. Like on 17th Street, 9th Avenue, when I was a teenager, man, we didn't want to hear nothing about poetry. Somebody say something about poetry, we say, oh yeah, where's he at? Bring him on over here. Because we was into shooting the jumper, and that was damn near all. So in the 9th grade, like a teacher sneaked up on us and put these pieces of paper on the table, told everybody to read them, and then tell her what we thought about it. So I said, well, it's all right. Shit, I'll try it. I looked at the poem said, what now outside the wall I see? A shadow of an image me. I said, well, God damn, let me read this again. What now outside the walls? In the back of the room, somebody said, hey, this must be deep. Because you know, like, this must be deep is like a drape that we throw over everything, you know, like what we must be, this must be deep means that, like, I recognize all of these words individually. But damn if I can get anything out of the order in which they currently appear. This must be deep. I mean, because you figure it must be deep, it's in this book. You say, well, why the hell would they put it in this book if it didn't mean nothing? Because ordinarily you read that don't mean nothing. You say, hey, this must be nonsense. But you don't want to say that with the teacher standing right next to you. Why you give me this, you know? So you say, hey, this must be deep. And what happens is that when a lot of folks get ready to write poetry, that's what they decide they're going to be, deep. They decide they're going to be poetic. So they come up to me, people come up to me sometimes and say, hey, read my poem. I read it. What now upside the wall I see. And the only thing I can say to them is, hey, this must be deep. Because like being influenced by the kind of poetry that we were all introduced to, people feel as though like the way to be poetic is to make sure that there's certain little parts of it can't nobody understand. Why would you need a poet to make things more complex? Two winos can make things more complex. One of them say to the other one, well, is it, well, is that you? And the other one look at him right serious and say, yeah. And they communicated. You see, if communication is what it's all about. As far as most people sitting around watching it, could have been two poets talking to one another. They didn't have a clue. So the idea became not only to use ideas that were familiar to people in the community, but to use the language that everybody could understand. Of course, this poetry was always put down as street poetry because, of course, that's where the people were. People were on the street, and these are the people that you wanted to communicate with. Did an idea one time about how often it is that folks brother and sister one another, and how rare it is that something actually comes out of that people can grasp onto. Did a poem about the fact that oftentimes the people who are doing the most talking and the kind of conversations that you run into around this neighborhood should be the ones doing the most listening. The poem we did was called Billy Green is Dead. The economy is in an uproar. The whole damn country is in the red. The taxi fares is going up. What? You say Billy Green is dead. The government can't decide on busing, or at least that's what they said. Yeah, I heard you when you told me. You said that Billy Green was dead. But let me tell you about these hot pants that this big leg sister wore when I was partying the other night. What you say? Billy took an overdose. Well, now, junkies will be junkies, but did you see Gunsmoke last night? Man, they had themselves a shootout and folks was dying left and right. At the end, when Matt was cornered, I had damn near give up hope. Why you keep on interrupting me? You say my son is taking dope. Well, then call the law and call the doctor. What you mean I shouldn't scream? My only son is on narcotics. Should I stand here like I'm pleased? Is that familiar to anybody? Check out what's inside your head, you see. Never seems to matter when it's Billy Green who's dead. We'd like to include y'all in on a party if we could. Brother Robert Gordon, who is our Secretary of Entertainment, has been responsible for the vibe-mosphere. It's a combination of the vibrations and the atmosphere, you see, that permeates everything. Truth is that sometimes the rhythm beat to establish the party. And we do have parties from time to time. In case there are those of you who did not receive your invitation, would have read something like this. Brother Robert G is the man that sees about the RSVP. Wanna party, party, party. Brother Robert G is the man that sees about the RSVP. Wanna party, party, party. See, we like to have the kind of parties where everybody can BYOT, you know, bring your own thing. And we don't like to place too many restrictions on folks, but we do like to say you got to beware of skull and crossbones. skull and crossbones can sneak up on you sometimes. You at the party laying back being cool as you like to do most of the time. All of a sudden there's a hint of a scent of mint moving through the air. Skull and crossbones. You see, the only thing that we have against skull and crossbones really is street corner chemistry. Street corner chemists are most responsible for amnesia. When they put that shit together, they can't seem to remember if it was supposed to be a little bit of this and a little bit of this and a lot of that. Or was that a lot? Brother Robert Cheese, man, see mother eyes, sleepy, wanna party, but no AD. Got to read the fine print on the invitation. It goes something like this. Brother Robert Cheese, man, see about the RSVP, you wanna party, but no AD. Because AD is what we remember as skull and crossbones. Used to be BC and AD. That was the way Phipps described the world. BC was before Christ and AD was after the death, but AD has gone through changes. Now skull and crossbones reminds you of trying to unlock doors that you thought were somewhere behind you. Trying to climb stairs that just seem to go up and up and up. Might have to bring you a description that reads something like this to remind you that cracks in the sidewalk seem to expand. I can't get over, it must be dust. Flowers on the wallpaper change the size and color. Oh brother, it must be dust. Got my back against the wall. I know there's no one there at all, but I'm looking dust. Make me remember conversations between me and me and me and dust. We'd like to have Brother Robert Gordon, the Secretary of Entertainment, bring you a little bit of the melody, because we'd like to have y'all help us with a song that we're going to do. We'd like to have the chairman of the Vibrosphere come together. The song is called Angel Dust. Angel dust. Second time we get to two, we're gonna be looking for everybody to help us out a little bit. So 1, 2, 1, 2. One time, say. Angel dust. Looking for the harmony this time, y'all. Say. He was grooving, and that was when he could have sworn the room was moving. Hey, but that was only in mind how he was sailing. Never really seemed to notice the vision failing. was boring, and he couldn't take it. Rumors exploding, might not make it. Say, angel dust. Look and say, somebody help. Angel dust. It don't mean nobody no good. Angel dust. And you won't remember what you're missing, but down some dead end street, there ain't no turning back. Woo! You never get away from dust. Sometimes been sneaking up on the system. They was standing, well, everybody in a circle, the whole family. Yes, and listen to the preacher's word. Sis was crying, cause she alone knew the secret about his dying. You see, tears fall into earth, the maybe her fall. He was so trusting, and God only knew why. They were dusting. Struck again and say, somebody help. It don't mean nobody no good. And you won't remember what you're missing, but down some dead end street, there ain't no turning back. Ooh, you never get away from dust. Say, somebody need to tell my brother about dust. And I ain't trying to run your life, believe in dust. Do it long, and it sure enough do you wrong. Down some dead end street, there ain't no turning back to back to back or away from dust. Say, and somebody need to tell my sister about dust. It don't mean nobody no good nowhere. Say dust, mess with it long, it'll sure enough do you wrong. Down some dead end street, ain't no turning back. Hey, D, thank you very much. Whether you're on a tour of Washington, let me tell you, those tours are always the same. They bring you around to places like this. They might even tell you who the jackass is on the horse or the guy up on top of the building, but they never show you the real Washington. You should have been around maybe the 15th of January. That's when Stevie Wonder was holding this rally. It was about 50,000 people gathered there. They were trying to demonstrate and make Dr. King's birthday a national holiday. But it's always the same. The Capitol, the Hoover Building. Maybe sometimes they would even show you the Washington Monument. But that's not a look at the real Washington. The one I'd like to show you is something special. You want to see what's happening in the nation's capital? Come with me. You see, most of the things that happen in the nation's capital happen in neighborhoods just like this. And unfortunately, these are the neighborhoods that the people from Omaha and the people from Kansas and the people from out in Indiana and Ohio never get a chance to see. So when there are protests and demonstrations and expressions of concern by members of communities like this, people in the Midwest and other places who've been to the nation's capital, they say, why, those people in D.C., they're living so good, they have it so great, what could they possibly be demonstrating about? It's because the tourmobile takes you to Georgetown. The tourmobile takes you to the Gold Coast. The tourmobile never comes down to 10th and V, 10th and W. The tourmobile never gets over here into the heart of the city, and therefore never has any real contact with the people who are the lifeblood of this city. Seems to me, spent a lifetime late one night up on 14th Street. Made me feel always the right time, 'cause the people should not be loving me. Didn't make but one, second to none. See, it's the nation's capital. It's the nation's capital. It's the nation's capital. It's Washington, D.C. We wrote a song for the new album that has raised a certain number of questions, particularly about the former mayor of Philadelphia, whose name was Frank Rizzo. The song that we wrote was called Gun. And it had a lot to do with Mayor Rizzo, rest in pieces. Say that because we're so glad he ain't the mayor no more. Frank Rizzo got on TV one time and said he was going to collect all the handguns, personally, damn near. And that what he was going to do was he was going to put up these cardboard boxes at the fire stations. And when you was in the neighborhood and had a minute, you're supposed to come out there and drop your piece off in the box. So in the course of about 6 weeks, he had one gun that he had collected, and it was in bad need of repair. So they went down in South Philadelphia and they asked the brothers down there exactly what the situation was. Had they heard what the mayor said and this, that, and the other? And they said, yeah, they heard. And that as soon as the police turned their guns in, you should come back and ask them about it again. So we would like to do a song for you about the American streets. The song is called Gun. Brother man nowadays living in the ghetto, where the danger's shown up for real. Well, if he's out late at night, if he's got his head on right, I lay you 9 to 5, he's walking with steel. Brother man said he's afraid of gangsters, he's messing with people just for fun. Yes, and he don't want to be next, he's got a family to protect. So just last week he bought himself a gun, and everybody got a pistol. Everybody got a 45. Yeah, philosophy seems to be, at least as near as I can see. When the other folks give up theirs, I give up mine. This is a violent civilization. If civilization's where I am, 'cause every channel that I stop on got a different kind of cop on, and killing them by the million for Uncle Sam. But Saturday night just ain't that special. Yeah, I got the Constitution on the run. 'Cause even though we got the right to defend our home, defend our land, got to understand and get it in the hand about the gun. 'Cause everybody got a pistol, everybody got a 45. Yeah, philosophy seems to be, at least as near as I can see. When the other folks give up or give up or give up, I'll give up, I'll give up, say. Ain't that special. Freedom to be afraid is all you want. Yes, and you don't want to be next, might have a family to protect. 9 out of 10, you need a friend, you call a gun. And everybody got a pistol, everybody got a 45, 38, 22, warning you. Philosophy seems to be, at least as near as I can see. When other folks give up theirs, I give up mine. And everybody got a pistol. This must be the N-R-A-N. Yeah, 'cause when it's time to sign up, you know damn well they're gonna line up. Everybody say, talking about. Yeah, philosophy seems to be, at least as near as I can see. Other there are some ghosts of America's past, naturally. People who have been building blocks to the history of this country. And we haven't seen very much of them so far on our tour. But believe you me, as soon as we take a turn around another one or two of these corners, I'm going to take you to a place where all of them are still, well, I couldn't say alive and well, because even when they're alive, a lot of them wasn't doing that well. But at the very least, I can say that we can show you some of the symbols of the things that we consider when we talk about the history of this particular nation. Come on, let's go. Yeah, they told me this would be quite a surprise. Because things have changed here over the last 2 centuries. It seems as though things have gone even a little bit further than from Plymouth Rock to Acid Rock. You know, there are lots of pieces of American history here. Betsy Ross, I suppose, dealing with the flag. I once heard a suite one time that was written by a guy whose idea was called, "How much nicer it might have been if Plymouth Rock had landed on the Pilgrims." I don't know if I agree with all that, but there are certain indications of a long past America here. The clock, the photographs, the ships. But what I really wanted to talk about was something of a new nature, at least in terms of our perspectives of ourselves. Take, for example, this guy standing over here in the corner. A lot of us will recognize him. Did a poem one time called The Watergate Blues. And in the Watergate Blues, hey, straighten it up over here. In the Watergate Blues, one of the big lines that we delivered was that if Nixon knew, Ag knew. Question was, who was around where Hale Boggs died, and what was the cause of LBJ's untimely demise? And what really happened to J. Edgar Hoover? The king is proud of Patrick Gray, while America's faith is drowning beneath a cesspool called the Watergate. The candle was passed on from Nixon to Oatmeal Man, you see. As a matter of fact, when Oatmeal Man inherited the presidency some few years ago, well, matter of fact, he looks a little bit more on the job now than he did while he was president. Spent a brief time in the White House and then passed it on to Skippy, who was the victim, or at least the guy who came in second in the last election, collecting 21% of the registered votes. It's a massive irony for all the world to see. It's the nation's capital, it's Washington, D.C. It's the nation's capital, it's the nation's capital, it's the nation's capital, Washington, D.C. It's the nation's capital, it's the nation's capital, it's the nation's capital, it's Washington, D.C. From the Indians, welcome to Pilgrims, and to the buffalo that once ruled the land. Like the vultures circling beneath the dark clouds, looking for the rain. Yes, they've been looking for the rain. Just like the city, the stagger on the coastline, living in a nation that just can't take much more. Like the forest they buried beneath the highway, never had a chance to grow old. Well, they never had a chance to grow old. And now it's winter. Seems like winter in America. It's a time when all of the heroes done been killed and been betrayed. Yeah, even though it's something wrong, everybody ought to know winter. Winter in America. The truth is that Constitution was a noble piece of paper, and with free society, well, they struggled but they died in vain. And now democracy is ragtime on the corner, unemployed, and I'm hoping that it rains. Yes, I've been hoping for some rain, but it just don't look like rain. I've seen the robin perched in barren treetops, they're watching the last-ditch races marching across the floor. And like these signs that melted in our dreams and never had a chance to grow. Well, I never had a chance to grow. If somebody wants to know, tell them it's a winter. Nothing grows in winter in America. It's a time when all of the heroes done been kicked around, or they've been betrayed. Say, people know it's something wrong here, and they feel like it seems like winter in America. Yes, well, the truth is there's nobody fighting because, well, nobody knows what to say. The sisters save the babies. Winter in America. Now it's winter. It's cold, it's winter in America. Yes, it's a time when all the healers, brothers who can help us down.